Hi, John Morgan here with Bob's Market at Greenhouses, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live, our show right here on the internet every Friday at 4 p.m. So to get things started off this week, let's take a look at some announcements. And to get things started off, we are having a customer appreciation sale. So right now you can go out to our stores and we have just tons of stuff marked down. Anywhere from 20, 30, even 50% off on some items. So stop by and check that out. Also, coming up Monday and Tuesday is the America in Bloom judging for Gallipolis and Belpre. So if you live in those two towns, you might want to get out and pull some weeds and stuff before Monday. And moving along, I wanted to remind you about our Yard of the Month contest. I'm still getting in entries, and you can send me pictures for June all the way up through to, let me take a look at a calendar. Sunday, June 30th. Will be the last day that you can submit pictures for the June Yard of the Month. So far, got some great pictures. In fact, that's a couple of them there on the screen. Let's take a look now at the weather. And let's start off with our local forecast here for the Mid-Ohio Valley. And this weekend, it looks like it's going to be some pretty good weather. Saturday, it's going to be a high up around 87. Sunday, 88. And we are looking at a chance for thunderstorms on Sunday. So, you might want to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the radar Sunday. And then moving on into Monday and Tuesday, we're going to head into kind of our first heat wave of the year. Monday we're going to be up around 90, and again there's going to be a chance for an isolated thunderstorm. And Tuesday we're going to hit like 94, 95 degrees. It's going to be up there. And then the heat's going to stick around into Wednesday. And then sometime between Wednesday and Thursday, we're probably going to have a line of thunderstorms move through. And that's going to help drop the temperature back down. But still, Thursday it's looking like the high is going to be 91. So, it's going to be pretty toasty next week. And let's take a look at some national weather maps for our forecast for this weekend. So, Saturday we're looking at pretty widespread sunshine. Just some storms out in the Plains states. And, that air mass is going to be moving toward us, and that's what's going to lead us into our stormy weather on Sunday. And with all that sunshine, you're definitely going to need to protect your skin, because the UV index is right up there. It's a 10 for us. Down in the south, Georgia, that area, up above 10. So, it's going to be toasty out, and you can also get toasted. So, make sure that you protect yourself so you don't get sunburnt. Okay, moving along now, let's take a look at the allergy forecast. And I've got some great news when it comes to the allergy forecast, because our levels have actually dropped down to around 4.8 now. So, as I said last week, this is the first time since I've been doing the allergy forecast that we've been down below midway on the scale. The scale runs from 0 up to 12. And our main pollen concerns right now are grass and also chenopods. They're more or less, I would call them a weed. But they're actually in the Amaranthus family, and they produce a seed pod up on the top, kind of a big tuft with a bunch of seeds and little flowers on it. So the pollen levels from those right now are pretty high. And if we take a look at grass pollen, the distribution is, as well, it's in the moderate range for us. So if you're a grass pollen allergy sufferer, it might be affecting you right now. And also, there's still a decent amount of tree pollen in our area. So if tree pollen affects you, it might be bothering you right now. But of course, the tree pollen levels are starting to ease up the further we get into summer. So our main pollen concerns are both grass and tree pollen. In fact, I was looking at weather.com earlier, and they actually had an alert out for Mason for high weed pollen levels, which that goes back to the chenopods. You know, that's more or less what's driving up our pollen level right now. Okay, a few weeks back we took a look at the Garden Outlook, and I said that, you know, we would do this periodically as growing conditions change. So I wanted to kind of do an update today because there's a couple trends that are definitely going to affect our growing as we go further into the month. So right now for us, you can plant pretty much anything that's a summer crop. It's great weather for planting tomatoes, annuals, peppers, one we'll be talking about here in a little bit. Just gorgeous weather for that. But that being said, right now we are starting to kind of head into a dry trend. We haven't been receiving a lot of rain during the weeks. And if we take a look at the Palmer Drought Severity Index, you can see that the oranges and the yellows and the reds are starting to creep into our area. It's starting to look like, as far as the trends are going, that this might turn out to be kind of a dry summer. So you need to keep that in mind as you're planning your garden, especially with things like pepper plants and tomatoes that you're transplanting into the garden, that you keep them well watered so they can take root and get established. So this week we were talking about peppers in the newsletter, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can check out our blog. The article's on there. It is just a massive article this week on peppers. When I typed it up, I think it was somewhere around 6 pages. But it's pretty much anything you would ever want to know about peppers. So I just wanted to point out a couple little bullet points from the article that we can look at that kind of applies to our growing conditions right now. And of course, when it comes to planting your peppers, you want to plant them the same depth as the root ball if you're buying them from Bulbs Market. I also grow peppers from seed at home. I start them in a bed in the springtime, and then I dig them up and move them out to the garden. So you want to try to get them to the same depth that they were. And especially with this dry trend right now, you want to make sure that you water them regularly until they become established. Peppers are one of those plants that do okay without a lot of watering. But in these dry conditions, you want to make sure that you supplement the water that they're getting from rainfall. And also, when it comes to fertilizing your peppers, just a general purpose fertilizer will do. And of course, you want to plant your peppers in full sun, in well-drained soil. And we're kind of past this point now, but peppers will not tolerate a frost. So next spring when it comes time to plant, you want to keep that in mind, that even if there's a slight, very slight chance of frost, you don't want to plant them because the least little frost will kill them. And of course, you can find all this information in our e-newsletter, and the easiest way to get it is to text bulbs to the number 22828, and that will register you. And well, that pretty much finishes up our show for this week. I did have one more little video. You know, each week I tried to do a video update of some sort. So this week I thought it would be fun to do kind of a behind the scenes look at our office. But I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So I actually did it as if it were the theme to the show The Office. So this is kind of our parody version of that. So here we go.